just be in vain. If only for unity. If only just to have a dream. Something's gotta give. 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 Ooh, something's gotta give. Ooh, something's gotta give. Ooh, something's gotta give. Something's gotta give.
Oh, welcome back, folks. It's an absolute pleasure having that song played. It's a beauty incarnate. Just the harmonies, the slow tempo. So this is tango season, folks. You know what they say? September is tango season. It's open season, and when your boy gets up to dance, something's got to give. Would you believe that song is titled the exact same name? Something's Got to Give, by the absolutely gorgeous and phenomenal talent Kendall Elise, calling all the way across the Tasman from a apparently very sunny Auckland. So Kendall, welcome to Bar Talk. Welcome to the show. How you going this afternoon?
Thank you. What an intro. I'm doing pretty good. Like you say, it's a sunny afternoon in Auckland, suburban Auckland, where every man and his dog actually are operating outdoor power tools.
You were telling me that before. Yeah, the lawn mowers are in full force. It's like this springtime fever. The spring cleaning's really, it's really a fever. It must be in the pollen, I'd say. Do you reckon what kind of floralage and fernage and flora do you normally see around this time of year in Auckland?
There are a lot of citrus trees. I think a lot of the spring flowers are blooming. So when I go on my nightly lockdown walks, I get to smell the daffodils and the freesias. So it's pretty nice, actually. It's not a bad time of year. It does give you that sense of almost like relief and hope that you've got summer coming.
Yeah, no, it actually sounds pretty good. So it's good to see you still. It's because you guys are in lockdown at the moment. It's good to see you still getting that, that self-care. That's very important. Some people seem to forget right now, and it's like I feel like slapping some sense, but I feel like that's not very healthy for them to get some self-care.
Sometimes we don't always do what's healthy for us, though, do we?
Well, that's the curse of the human spirit, Kendall.
Yes. Yeah.
What isn't the curse is your new album, which is lovingly titled "Let the Night In," and I think I could have segued that way better. So speaking of nighttime walks, where you let the night in. Oh, would you know that's the name of Kendall Elise's new album, her sophomore album? Yeah, that was pretty smooth, don't you reckon?
That was pretty smooth. Awesome.
But no, let the night in. Yeah, sorry, you go.
Oh, no, you continue.
I was just saying it's your sophomore album, which I must say you must be pretty proud of. It's a very nice album.
For sure. Thank you.
I mean, what does it feel like with the fact that you've released it now, but as I'm sure when you were making it, didn't think that you'd be in lockdown for it. What's it like having to wake up in the morning and go, I've got an album out, but I can't tour for it?
Wow. Yeah. Well, you always kind of have in the back of your mind with everything that's going on, you always do sort of anticipate that it could be a possibility, but I guess I always sort of thought in my head I just wouldn't cross it. I wouldn't worry about it until the date comes and then see how I deal with it. So it did take a couple of weeks to get my head around it, but I've been really, really grateful that all of the promotion I can do has been able to be moved to online, which has been, it's kept me so busy, and it's just helped me feel more connected, and like I've been able to actually share the album with people like I would, well, maybe not like I would during a show, but yeah, in another way. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's that marvelous thing, you know. It's just the online thing. People complaining about our situation at the moment. What I really feel for is the people living 100 years ago during the Spanish flu that would have had to have quarantined, you know.
Yep.
Or back in the days, even going back further. So quarantine, did you know, is actually a derivative of an Italian word meaning 40 days. I don't know if you knew this, but it was to do with the 40 days they had to quarantine on the boats to not let the Black Plague in. So imagine being some poor Italian sailor, 40 days, having to isolate for 40 days on a ship. No internet, no TV even, Kendall, would you believe? But it is amazing that you can tie this beautiful thing called online promotion, and you can still do it and thrive during lockdown. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's amazing. And not only that, but it connects you to people all around the world.
I was going to ask.
It's amazing.
Have you had any random listeners from parts of the world maybe you hadn't considered had been listening to your music?
Yeah, so I've been playlisted on a I don't actually know how to say the name of. I should have researched how to say the name of this streaming platform. It's like Qobuz, Quobuz, and they're I think they're from France, and I'm just absolutely shocked that I've been playlisted as number one on their country playlist for You've Got to Be a Little Mad, and so I just find it really odd and awesome that someone from across the world has picked it up and really enjoyed it and wanted to share it with everyone.
So is this some weird French streaming site that you can only get over there?
No, it's international, but they play high res music, so they upload everything in high resolution. Yeah.
So for the true audiophiles out there.
Audiophiles.
So you've got one French audiophile. It sounds a lot worse than it actually is, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as a because I'm relatively new to the scene, so small things like that are just pretty mind blowing to me.
With that, well, what's it like then? Because I mean, you've had this is, as we mentioned before, you've put out an album before, but you still consider yourself pretty new to the scene. I mean, what are you comparing yourself to when you say that then?
Well, actually, I don't know. I just perhaps it's a little bit of imposter syndrome. You know, you never quite think that you're where you. Well, I don't even know where I am in the spectrum.
Have you just said that so many times? Maybe it's just
a little bit of modesty.
Have you just said that so many times, Kendall, that you're like, yeah, I'm still new to this. I'm still new to this. You're going to be on your 10th album. You go, yeah, I'm still new to this. You know.
I guess what I'm thinking as well is that I've got quite a few more albums in me.
Okay.
And so there's so many places I can go and so many things I can do, and so we've got a fire alarm going off.
Oh,
it's not here.
Did one of the lawnmowers set them off?
Electric one.
I can't even hear it. So the wonders of the modern phone technology, Kendall. I can't hear the lawnmowers. Can't hear the fire alarms. I can't hear the flowers blooming. I can't hear anything.
The beautiful ambience.
I'm not even there. No, but I mean, it's more of a case then of you having an idea of where you are with your career rather than actually where it is. It's like you have a lot more, as you're saying, to give as far as music's concerned. So that in your mind puts you at the earlier part of your music journey by the sounds of it.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess in that way I would say I'm only really comparing myself to myself, aren't I? Because I'm looking at my past achievements, and I'm just continuously trying to build on those.
And have there been any achievements that you've aimed to reach with this new album that you have, or are you still working at it?
Yes. So for this last record, I was the sole producer. So that was something that I've really wanted to start getting into and learning about and being, basically. So and also one of the silver linings that have come out of a lockdown is that I got to have some time at home learning how to use Pro Tools and doing some of my own home recording and stuff. So yeah, so those kind of things, like my goals are always to just grow and learn and better what I've done in the past. So I feel like that's really happened with this record.
So you have really indeed used your time well, unlike the majority of us simple folk, wasting our time streaming the same series over and over again. You've actually gone and learned a skill, which I think is phenomenal. And you've actually done some good with it. You've put it to use.
Yeah, that's a cool way of looking at it. I also I work full time and I work from home, and so I have had to juggle that at the same time.
How's that like then? Realizing that both your workspace and your day job space and your producing space are in the same space.
Yeah.
Your sleeping space is in the same space too. Like, how do you like to divide things up? What sort of keeps your mind active through the fact that you're not really changing your location?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Definitely outdoor time, just when it's sunny, making the opportunity to go outside and just sit in the sun for a little bit.
Yeah.
Going for walks and stuff. And and I do really feel for my partner as well, who, I've taken over half the bedroom with my desk and computer, and I've got like a cupboard where I store all my stock, like my vinyl, and so it feels less like his bedroom and more like my office. So so it can be a bit hard, and it's hard to manage, I think. But yeah, just outside time, that's all we can do, really.
So what room have you given him in return? The laundry or something like that? He said, here you go. Put whatever you want in the washing machine.
He gets the rest of the house.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So with this one, was it an aim from yours from the get-go to have the album self-produced, was it? Or did it end up just being a happy accident along the way?
It was a happy accident. It was, I did approach a couple of people about potentially jumping on board to help produce. But in the end, I got in touch with Beck Ronga, and I asked her if she would be interested in producing, and she did say that she would love to. And so she came over to a session where when the band were all over, and we played her some of the songs, and then I sat down and chat with her afterwards, and just about what my plans were and what I thought I wanted the songs to sound like. And after that chat, she actually said that she thought that I could produce a record on my own because I had such a strong idea of what I wanted things to sound like and a strong plan and everything. So we decided that instead of her jumping on board and like producing the whole album, that she would help me and help empower me to do it on my own. So that was really awesome. That's just like, actually, that's once again, it's one of those sort of really mind-blowing, crazy moments in your career when you're just like sitting face to face with someone who I've listened to her since I was like, I don't know, 10? No, 11?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
When was her? I can't even remember the dates of her release, so I'm trying to match up my age.
It's all a blur. It's all good.
But like I used to learn and sing her songs in school assemblies, and then here I am sitting face to face with her. I did say that to her. I said, "This is like actually such a crazy feeling," and I was like, "It's really buzzy." And then she looked at me and she goes, "Am I buzzing you out?"
Oh no, she
straight
turned
into
up.
my face. It's so funny.
She turned up the charm, obviously, charisma.
It was awesome. It was hilarious. Yeah, it's so funny.
So with that, so I guess that sort of provided you with, because I'm not, so who did you say this artist was? Because I don't think they're overly familiar. I don't think people would be overly familiar with them outside of New Zealand.
No.
So yeah, sorry, you go.
Sorry. So she's one of New Zealand's like most highly awarded musicians. She released an album when she was really young, and her song "Sway" is quite a familiar one that got played all around the world. And she had some major syncs as well on like American Pie, the movie, and she's worked with like Dave Dobbin and Neil Finn. If Neil Finn would be quite a familiar name, I'm sure, around the world.
Oh, I don't know. It rings a couple of bells. But no, obviously she's very much an industry musician over there. You're very, very much well connected. And
and she's also won like best producer for albums that she's done as well. And so
to get I was going to say, to get somebody who is obviously not only a very accomplished singer-songwriter but also an accomplished producer to say that must have been a really good confidence booster.
Yeah, it really was. It just definitely helped me feel like I was on the right path for sure.
And actually, let's go back to that sort of starting point of the album. You were telling me before that the song we played just before, Something's Gotta Give, was the starting point of writing that album. So did that come before or after you had decided you were going to self-produce it?
Oh, that was before. So that song, Something's Gotta Give, that was actually written during a songwriting workshop with Beck, where I met her for the first time.
Okay.
So, I got approved. I got accepted into the applications for this workshop.
Yeah.
And they asked us to come with a half-written song. And so that was the song I took. And, so I didn't even really get any one-on-one time with her during the workshop, just like about half an hour or so. And at the end, I gave her a copy of my last record, just thinking, what have I got to lose? Yeah. So then she gave me a message like a couple of months later, and she said that she'd listened to it and she thought it was awesome, and the songs, she picked out a couple of songs that she really liked, and I was just like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So so pretty awesome. But it wasn't until a bit later on, once I had quite a few of the songs ready and I was close to the recording, or closer to the recording booking, that we had kind of talked about that production. Yeah.
And I mean, how was it then having to adjust to doing it all yourself? Was it quite the learning curve in terms of getting used to your own workflow, or were you very comfortable in your own skin even before you started it?
I guess it's all just sort of part of the process. Yeah, it's a bit hard to know, because I guess there's a lot of process that I go through, because as being the songwriter and teaching the songs to the band as well. I suppose it wasn't too much different from the last two recordings as well, because I did help co-produce those. Yeah. So I did kind of follow a lot of that same process. But in this recording, I guess the learning came from not having that second ear in the studio, because that was the hardest. I was the main person that was going to make all the decisions. So I had to either be sure about what my decision was, or I had to quickly chat to other people and then get their opinions and then make sure that I'm, quickly made another decision if I wanted to change something or whatever, because it was all my responsibility. So
was that mainly because you'd always been a bit more submissive in terms of what creative decisions would be made? You're always like needing someone to bounce off, or is it just a case of that sometimes you just really don't know and you need that second voice?
It's definitely the latter, because I feel like I've got I'm quite protective of my music, I think, and my creative decisions. Yeah. So
so you think it just needs that extra person to sort of push you to actually go, oh, this is fine, do this, it'll sound great, sort of thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it definitely helped that I had a really experienced engineer who was really awesome with how to, like, knowing how to achieve certain sounds and things that I wanted. Yeah. Oh, okay. So it wasn't all a solo project. Okay. See, people go, it's all self-produced. No. Here people think, oh, she was hitting the buttons herself. No, she had someone to do that. It's all good. No, sorry. I did kind of lead you astray there by talking about the home recording, but that was all post studio. Yeah. I did record at Roundhead, which is once again Neil Finn's studio. Not to brag. No, well, Roundhead is pretty awesome. Yeah. Hey, why wouldn't I brag? No, exactly. You're just name dropping all the way. But with that, what's your engineers? Well, I was going to say, speaking of name dropping, who's your engineer, and what made him so good? Because you got to give him a bit of love.
Paddy Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's been at Roundhead for quite a few years, and he helped me with my last record too. So
I'm sure he knows his way around the dials then.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, so it was a no-brainer having him involved in this project. Yeah.
What's it like then? So with that, then what particularly did you like about the way that he worked behind the desk? What about his style did you really appreciate?
I appreciated that he had a really good ability to just stay sort of calm and and relaxed. Well, it's a stressful situation.
Meltdowns, Kendall. There
hey,
wasn't any glass
like I said,
involved, was there?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, I'm guessing they would have kicked you out if that happened.
Well, hey, I'm sure they have meltdowns all the time. Yeah,
that's why studios have padded walls. True story. It's not because it's not to absorb the sound,
not to buffer sound.
No.
But like I said, as a sole producer, it was hard because I didn't have that second ear or that second opinion. So yeah, there were a few stressful moments where I did get a little bit overwhelmed. But like I said, Paddy, he was calm and he really understood. And so he helped just keep everything going.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Engineers do need a good shout out because they don't get producers get all the love. I feel like.
Oh, totally. And he's the one that has the expertise. Yeah, he knows which microphones to use. He knows exactly where to put them. He knows what effects to add. It's just it's definitely important. Paddy's the man. Yeah.
So you're putting the album together, you're getting these songs, there's the occasional meltdown, whinging whine, mute buttons were pressed, padded walls were hit. I hope no expensive equipment was broken within this process, Kendall, but we won't
not intentionally.
Well, not for legal purposes anyway. It's good. It's good that you had that passion. It means there was a real passion there that you wanted this record to come out just right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get it, you finish it, you're done, bang. Well, what happens now? Like you look at it and you go, right, what was your reaction listening back to it after, having it all done?
Well, it was definitely not finished at that point. So I would listen to it and be like, okay, this still needs this, this, and this, and this. So that's where the learning of the Pro Tools came in and doing some recording at home. So I spent quite a few hours just at home listening over and over to the mixes. Because actually after the studio, I did go to the person that mixed my last record too, Scott Seabright, and he did the mixing. So
again, mixes very important, folks. Very important, folks.
Oh, yes. Completely. I feel like people who can mix music are like magicians. It's just it's so crazy what you can achieve.
But yes, so you took it to your old trusty steed, the mixer.
Yes.
And
sure.
what did you tell him? Were there any tears involved? It's like, I can't get this right. I've been learning Pro Tools for 2 hours and I can't get it perfect. Or was it, was it a case of like, I was like, please, I've had enough. Just deal with it. Make this good. Just
well,
hand in the wad of notes. Is like, here's the extra bonus.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that. It was like I knew I was going to send it to him because I really like the way his mixing style. He's got like he makes everything sound quite lush and full. So I did give him the mixes pretty much straight away and asked him to do a first mix, and then he sent me the first mix, and then I kind of went from there with feedback and whatnot. And there were a couple of things that I chopped and changed, and like I ended up re-recording a few of the vocal tracks because I just felt that the performances that I gave in the studio weren't good enough, just because I guess I was under a lot of pressure, and I was more worried about trying to get everyone else to sound good. And so he is awesome. Like he made even some of my home recordings where I don't have the quality equipment like Roundhead, he still made them sound amazing. So
right.
Yeah.
So percentage-wise, what By the way, actually, too, when you mentioned lush, actually, I was thinking of descriptive words for how the album sounds, and actually, lush is probably a good example, especially on songs like "I Want."
Oh.
There's a bit more swell to them. There's a few of those songs where there's like that quiet swell. So yeah, it's kind of I think an appropriate description, I think, for the album. But nonetheless, you were saying so a lot of it was at the studio, some of it was at home. What percentage of the record do you reckon, components wise, ended up actually being some of that stuff you did at home?
It would be a small percentage because they're just more like accented elements like tambourine and vocal tracks and backing vocals. So there was only probably about 2 of the tracks where I replaced the main vocal, and then I recorded all the backing vocals and the percussion at home, or most of the percussion. So probably it's only like 2%.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's
or maybe I'm downplaying the importance of the vocals and the percussion, but yeah, who knows?
So, I mean, how many times do you reckon you went back and forth getting these draft mixes done before you were finally set on the final product?
I think some of the mix numbers went up to about mix 7 for some tracks.
Yeah.
So but that wasn't for all of them. Some of them, like the solo acoustic ones, those ones were, I knew exactly how those would sound with Scott's mixing. So they were pretty much done from mix 1. Yeah. So it depends really on which track.
Yeah. But some of them, it sounds like there was a bit of nitpicking involved, really wanting to get everything just right by the sounds of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So now that it's out, you're obviously pretty happy. It's like, well, that's it. You're not going to be going back to do any more different takes, I guess. It is what it is.
Yes, yeah. You kind of have to accept that as a snapshot and move on from it. Yeah.
What was it like now? It's been a week now since you've released it. How did it feel on release day?
I felt a huge sense of relief. It was there's been so much build up and work put into the release, and it felt good to be able to actually sit down and be like, I don't have to upload anything online today. I don't have to check that I've got this and that and this and that. And it was just, it felt really nice. And actually to know that people could listen to it as well. It just felt really good.
I'm sure it did. It's a big weight off your shoulders to finally not have to worry about it. It's done. It's dusted. And
now it's pretty much just up to, it's up to whatever happens now. I can't really control that. But
have you seen any interesting comments that people have drawn in regards to the album itself since it's released, or have all the reviews been pretty standard?
There was a review from New Zealand Musician. That I quite enjoyed, and it felt like I was seen because there were so many of the references that I had in my head when I was creating the tracks and doing the production that reviewer picked up on, which was really cool. I was like, I can't believe I managed to communicate that in a way so people would actually pick up on it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the Fleetwood Mac style drums on "You Got to Be a Little Mad," or just like the 60s folk references in A Kingdom. And obviously a lot of the country influence. So that was pretty cool.
So it means that then you're obviously wearing a few of these influences on your sleeve to a certain extent to get this sort of consistent comparison that you actually had in mind anyway. I mean, was there anything particular?
I suppose so.
Yeah, when you were actually writing the songs, though, was there much in the way of particular artists that you were listening to? Or was it really just stuff that you'd always been interested in?
What was I tend to have phases of who I'm listening to. So who was I listening to when I was writing it? A lot of Elliott Smith. I think I was feeling a bit down too about the world. So Elliott Smith helped.
If you're listening to
make
Elliott
me feel
Smith,
more down. I actually really love Eels as well, and I was listening to all the crazy sounds and instruments and stuff that he puts into his music. So that Joni Mitchell, she's always been a big influence. So I don't know if I overtly or intentionally put them in as references, but it's kind of like just sort of it comes through. Yeah.
And now, because you were mentioning before too, that you were actually really proud. So this is before we were chatting too. You were very proud of the artwork and that, and you said that there was quite a bit going on with it. So I was actually wanting to know what's the story behind the artwork.
So I've been working to make music videos with a director called Amber Beaton, and she made some pretty cool videos for me. And I chat to her about how I wasn't sure what to do for the artwork. And she recommended her friend from San Francisco. Her name's Kristen Kofer, and she's a photographer. And she's done photography and album art for like Evanescence. And works with a lot of musicians. And so she was offering virtual photo shoots. So I got in touch with her and arranged one, and we did one over Zoom. And she does some really amazing things with like at her end, what she'd do is she'd project my image onto a wall and then use different gels and crystals and things to kind of refract the light. And then she'll also put a monitor facing upright on a table, and then use like a clear glass container with water and dyes, and she'll place like ornaments and flowers and stuff over top of it. So so I was just super stoked with the images that came out of it. And she is also a designer as well, so she was able to design the whole record sleeve as well. And so that's also the wonders of technology at the moment, where you can connect with other people from around the world.
Yeah. So I mean, when you say virtual photo shoot, how does that actually operate?
Well, I just sat in front of my computer with a black sheet behind me, and we had a Zoom meeting.
Right. And did you have to take the photos, or you have someone on your end taking the photos?
No, she takes them at her end.
Right. So, because I was going to say that's very bold to use the quality of, like I was going to say, you'd have to use some.
Yes.
You have to. Yeah. That's not something I would have.
Well, like a computer screen. Yeah, like, and if you're using a computer screen, sometimes you have, and you take a photo of it, sometimes you have that, those streaks that come through from the, I don't know if it's from the LED, I don't know. But yeah, so that can kind of make it look a little lower quality, but no, she's amazing. Yeah. Yeah,
so that's her.
To be able to make art from it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you keep going, yeah.
To be able to make art from like a computer image on a screen. Is
this her bread and butter? This is what she normally does? She does a lot of these virtual shoots, does she?
No, I think it was just a way that she had come up with to connect with people, because they were over in lockdown too. Yeah, so I think she was just sort of offering it during that time. She's usually obviously like going on in person to photograph people. Yeah.
Doing it the old-fashioned way.
Exactly.
The analog photographer. It's so 1998.
Totally.
Get with the times. It's all LEDs and and webcams now.
Yeah, that's the one. Exactly.
But no, it is honestly a pretty cool way to go about things. An interesting concept that you wouldn't have thought about, I guess, before you.
Yeah, and no, exactly. And I felt like the images really were a reflection of the fact that this was a lockdown written album. So why not have a lockdown styled cover as well?
I'm actually kind of curious, because we're only really now getting to the point where COVID's sort of starting to affect the themes of what music is coming out, because now's when we're really starting to see those songs get released. How do you think the whole pandemic has affected what themes you were chatting about in the album?
Yeah, well, the title track, Let the Night In, that was kind of, it was just about kind of the feeling that I had. Initially, it was about the feeling that I had when I stood outside on the road, because I'm in quite a busy area of Auckland. It's not far from the city, from the main centre. Yeah. So when I stood out on the road, everything was just dead quiet. And it was almost like a little bit unsettling, because it just felt like we were all in this time of uncertainty, and then suddenly everything goes dead silent. And it was almost like that moment where you're like, where's the noise? Like, what's going on? So
where are the lawnmowers?
Fire
alarms.
Yeah, or even just the distant hum of traffic that I usually hear. So it was like, so that's kind of what Let the Night In initially meant. It was like, it's okay, just let the night in. We're all good. We're just having to pause for a moment and breathe and let things happen. Yeah. So I guess something's got to give as well. That one was talking about just how we all needed to stop and take a step back. So, yeah, it's quite interesting.
So do you think that theme has largely carried throughout the songs on the record? Like, is that what you've tried to tie all of the songs together with?
Not necessarily, no. I think, though, they're all kind of interlinked because they're all moments of, like, realisation.
Is that more what you... Oh, okay. So is that more where it is? So each song is sort of a point where you've sort of come almost to this sort of mini eureka moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a sort of a realization of something, whether it be about, your existence in this time or, I don't know. Like, I'm not the songwriter here. Kendall, give me some, me something to work with.
Totally. So, just realizations about dealing with grief and loss, acceptance of, like, maybe a part of yourself that you might not have been, that you might have been a little bit ashamed of, and your identity. What else? Just realizing that, we've got a little bit of a responsibility to do what we can to, I don't know, to lift people up who might not have as much privilege as us. Just a whole bunch of things that have kind of resonated with me. And I tend to write from emotions. So they're all definitely quite emotional realizations.
Yeah. Well, as a lot of songwriters are, Kendall. That's not...
Yeah, exactly.
Don't paint this as a picture of I'm the only one here. I'm the only emotional songwriter here.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah.
No, and it's good to see that there was a bit of a carrying sort of idea throughout the whole project that you've sort of tried to emulate, which is really good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now, as we were talking about a little bit before, I believe, I think it was before we we started the interview. Yeah. You're talking about how you were going to go on this big old tour, and that last night, as of recording, was supposed to be the kickoff. Well, firstly, how did that go?
It was amazing. We had so many people attend, and there was encores. There was but
it's a bummer, firstly, that you can't when you were probably had all these when you had all these plans together. But firstly, is there plans to reschedule your tour once everything opens up?
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we've begun rebooking the dates, and it's looking like it might not be more of a cohesive tour. There might have to be a few things pushed to next year, just because everyone's in the same boat. So there's going to be a limited number of places I can reschedule to. So we're going to book the Auckland show for November, and then one of the other shows has been booked for February next year. So I'll just sort of keep chipping away and finding these new dates. And I definitely intend to connect with people on the ground level. Yeah, I'd go stir crazy if I couldn't.
Have you done much in terms of doing any live streams whilst you haven't been able to get out?
Not so much this lockdown, but I did do one on last weekend in collaboration with the record store called Flying Out. They allowed me to take over their page, and we did just a quick half-hour set, my partner and I, because he's my drummer as well.
Oh, well, that's just convenient, isn't it?
Just convenient. So I did have 2/5 of the band. So that was pretty fun, actually. It was a really nice way to just have something tangible to be celebrating with people and to share. And, So I don't really have much more planned in the way of live streams, but so we'll see how this kind of pans out as well.
So with the normal, I'm assuming the plan was to have all your band together for all your shows. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Were they also the ones that played on the record too?
Yep, they all are. Yeah.
Fantastic. When I was going to say, for those of us who aren't engrossed in the Kendall Elise fan lore or whatever it is, what's the regular band setup at one of your shows?
So we've got my partner on drums, that guy, and I've got also electric guitar, John Segovia, and he plays some steel guitar as well in there, and
bass.
Bass.
Slide, the lap steel, you mean?
Whoa, Yeah, it is a lap steel, but
Very nice.
oh, he would get upset if you called it slide guitar because it's a steel guitar.
Oh,
Terminology is important.
I know, slip of the tongue. I know.
No, it's all good. He told me off the first time I did that, so I made sure never to say it again. That was so. Yeah, and I've got Rob Scott on bass, and also another guitarist as well, who plays some acoustic and electric guitar and sings along, and Kevin Place. Yeah. So that's our standard setup.
Yeah. And are you also playing guitar as well, or?
Yeah. So I play guitar too.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. It makes it would be lovely. I imagine quite a lovely little sound you guys get between your non-slide lap steel and.
Yeah, I know. I think that they sound awesome, and I'm so lucky to have such an awesome bunch of people, and they're so dedicated as well, like just super reliable and enthusiastic, and I couldn't ask for more in a band.
How long have you had the band set up for? How long's the lineup been in its current format?
So they recorded on Red Earth as well. So I think it was probably about 2017 that we all got together, and Kevin Place was the most recent addition last year, and so he got to record on this one.
Nice. So I was going to say, it's coming to this now, this second album. Did you have in mind that certain parts you were writing would sort of fit in when you played it with the band, or was that at the forefront of your mind when you were putting together your songs?
Yeah, for sure. So moments where I knew that the bass was going to shine and Rob was going to play one of his awesome like melodic bass lines. And my guitarist, John Segovia, he's a bit of a local legend. And so I couldn't not have like one of his roaring solos, like especially in I Want. I knew that I was going to make him play a solo at the end. Yeah. So for sure, I wrote that into the song.
Oh,
yeah.
Obviously it's essential. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, they definitely help. Yeah.
I was going to say guitar solos are an essential service, I feel like, in these trying times.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. What would we do without them?
Up there between parcel delivery guys and first responders. Absolutely.
Yeah. Our heroes. Salute them. Yep.
So what were you saying before we accidentally cut you off? I do apologise.
That's all good. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It wasn't as important, clearly.
No.
It will be interesting. It will be great, I'm sure, for you to finally get back with the band when you can to get those shows done. It sounds like it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It will be. Yeah.
I'm sure you're itching to get out of the house right now.
Oh, tell me about it. But hey, look, really, in perspective, like we haven't had it as bad as a few people. So I definitely am not complaining. Yeah.
I was going to say, apart from obviously the shows coming up, what other plans do you have at the moment to round out the rest of the year and going into next year, I suppose?
Pretty much just the tour, basically. We had booked a European tour to happen last year. So perhaps I might start thinking about maybe bringing that back on, but I'm also a little bit hesitant to start planning anything so big. So, I guess we'll just kind of see how things go and,
take it as
I think
it comes.
I will release another music video as well. So, yeah.
Very important. Oh, yes, with your videographer, of course.
Yes, well, hopefully with Amber, yeah.
Now, we're going to be playing the title track really soon off the record, Let the Night In. And you said you did want to have a little bit of chat about this one. It was a very close song to your heart. So tell us a bit about it too, and what makes this one so unique and special to you.
So the song was written with my mum in mind because I wanted to write something that she would be able to sing with me and record with me. She's not a recording artist. She's not a musician. I just know that she has a beautiful voice because I've heard her sing along to songs a couple of times, like she's a shower singer, but she sounds gorgeous. So I wanted her to have the opportunity to just come in and record and experience the studio and sing along. And because I really envy and admire families that can sing together and they get to have these beautiful harmonies. And so I really wanted to have that too. So as I was writing the song, my grandfather became ill, and that's her father. And so we also had to kind of go through the whole process of him passing as well. So the song ended up taking on a bit of a second meaning to both of us.
Yeah.
So it was 2 weeks after he passed that we were in the studio and that she came in and we got to record. And so it was kind of like just seeing her, listening back to our voices and watching the tears in her eyes. And I was just like, you didn't know you could sound like that, did you, Mum? And she was like, yeah, she was just so stoked. And it was just a really lovely healing moment for her as well, because Granddad was like my biggest fan and he'd come along to any shows when I'd go down to Invercargill. And so to have that as well, I just said to Mum that Granddad would be really proud of her. So it was really nice.
Yeah. Have you had have you had the chance to play it in front of your family at all with your mother singing?
No, not yet. So that will definitely be a tear-filled moment, I'm sure.
I was going to say it's definitely something. I feel like that would be something I think that would be it would be a great experience. Sure. It's a lovely story, and it is sad about your grandfather as well. But it's lovely that you've gotten out of that experience a beautiful song and a great way to end the album too. It's a lovely track. Yeah,
thank you,
Kendall. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today and having a little chit chat about the album and everything surrounding it. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it too.
Hopefully you can scrap that European tour and do an Australian tour instead.
Yes.
Purely because I said so.
That's probably not a bad idea.
No, specifically because I said so. And, my sole willpower is making it happen. But no, hopefully, well, at some point we will be able to see you live and playing some of these songs.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that's totally something that I would love to do. I've always wanted to tour Australia.
But right now, so we can quench the thirst, so to speak, we're going to let the night in on with your beautiful album. And thanks again for coming on, Kendall. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Do you want to do us a solid and please tell us who you are and introduce the song?
Hi, I'm Kendall Elise and this is Let the Night In.
The last of the light was kissing the edge of the darkness. No moon was rising high. Gray shadows began to grow and intensify. It's okay. It's okay. Let the night in. It's okay. Let the night in. With my head to the sky, I tried listening. No hum could be heard. A soft quiet settled over the velvet night. It's okay. It's okay. Let the night in. It's okay. shadows did darken and a chill crept in. No clouds over my head. All I could feel were my bones aching in my skin. It's okay. It's okay. Let the night in. It's okay. Let the night in. Let the night in. Let the night in.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com